Hey guys, we have some amazing news about the debate last night. We all know that Andrew Yang was not on the debate stage, but he was trending on Twitter and all the social media. America needs Yang trends as the debate was going on without him. And I'm also going to share with you the polling that I did, who won the debate, and then I'll play some of the most dramatic moments about the debate, the interaction between Bernie and Warren. That was so incredible. And that was from The Hill Rising. And you're going to see not just their debate performances, but also I want you to focus on the comments, okay? Because everyone can access The Hill. Okay, my polling can be a little bit skewed. Well, because there are only like 1,800 people voted, and most of them are probably Yangan or Yangan adjacent. Okay, but if you look at the streamed chats from the Hill, it should be pretty accurate. I mean, it should be reflecting what is going on with people, like how the people are thinking about Andrew Yang, Bernie Sanders, and other candidates. Okay, and from there, my observation is about 33% of people are supporting Andrew Yang, which is absolutely amazing. And that is the math. I mean, this is what I call the big data analysis. I mean, YouTube, everyone can access YouTube videos free of charge, and it's basically it's like polling a larger sample of people, right? I mean, the regular polls, they only poll like from several hundred to maybe at most a few thousand people, but those are from Democrat voters, right? Or Democrat likely voters. That's just so inaccurate, so it could be so wrong. I'm gonna post another video later showing the big data analysis. Okay, but now let's just start with this news article from the Newsweek. Yeah, American News Yang was trending during the debate last night. Yan didn't appear, but he should have qualified. I mean, he has so many polls that he's hitting 5%. He has already met the donor threshold easily, and so it's just the DNC didn't count a lot of the votes where Andrew Yang hit 5%. So he just reached another 5% in a qualifying poll, and his campaign also continues to thrive in fundraising. He was fifth place with $16.5 million for the last quarter in 2019. So the six who were qualified for the debate were Bernie Sanders, Liz Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg, Joe Biden, and Tom Steyer. That's just incredible. Tom Steyer made it last minute. He just bought his way in with his money showers in other states. It's just what I say. I mean, it's just unfair, right? I mean, Cory Booker's dropped out, Kamala Harris dropped out. They don't have enough money. They are not billionaires. They have people supporting them, but that's not enough. Okay, so let's see what this Twitter is saying. Peak at the right time. American Easy, because it is by the numbers the strongest candidate against Donald Trump. Andrew Yang is the Democrat with the best off-speed jump at negative 200. Right, he's ahead of all the other candidates, Democratic candidates. This Twitter user, Yangan Rising, wrote, "Dear at the Democrats, an all-white stage of boring career politicians and a billionaire is not going to motivate a high young voter turnout. You know that what would inspire a large young voter turnout? A fresh, charismatic, energizing candidate like at Andrew Yang. American Needs Yang." Okay. Yeah, so that is what people are thinking about. It's hashtag American Needs Yang, because a 59-year-old stood up at Andrew's town hall today and told him he was put in a group home because his mom was addicted to meth and all they had to eat was donated food that wasn't healthy, as if the kid should ever be in that position at all. Ooh. People needs Yang, right? Jump close. Definitely missing at Andrew Yang and on the Democratic debate stage tonight. Oh, he also used the hashtag Andrew Yang himself. This debate is an opportunity to disseminate a vision out to the American people. Andrew reliably does this during his time speaking, missing the boost tonight. At Carson Tuller, hashtag Americanese Yang. So this one actually, it might be because Andrew said that is letting his friends using his Twitter account during the debate. So it could be Norm MacDonald or another friend tweeting on Yan's behalf. So far, Andrew Yang has received about as much speaking time as a normal debate. Because he didn't speak 32 minutes into the debate. It's the same. As if he's there. Right? Americanese Yan, because automation and AI are really here to take the jobs that people have held. And Andrew Yang knows how to transition us safely into the 21st century. Birds for Yang. It's not about ideas about how we are going to execute these ideas. So Andrew Yang clearly has thought out every single one of his ideas. He's done his research. It's not like other people stealing his talking points but cannot defend the ideas, like Joe Biden or Pete Buttigieg. So this one's hilarious. God tweeted, I've gone 5,000 years without talking to a single Chinese person, much less endorsing one. But damn it, hashtag Americanese Yan. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Zach speaks the least on the debate stage, raises millions, don't even get invited to debate because of lack of, quote, approved polls, trends anyways, hashtag Americanese Yan. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, he's really trending. I think at some point it was trending number 3 on Twitter, hashtag Americanese Yan. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the poll I did. That was about 12 hours ago. Who won the 7th Democratic debate? There were 1,700 votes. I think now it's 1,800. Andrew Yang, 98%. Bernie, the other non-zero is Bernie, 1%, and all the other people maybe together share 1%. That was just insane. And look at that. I donated to Yang campaign instead of watching debate. Thank you for all the comments. My pleasure. You already know Andrew Yang is my president, so obvious, no need to vote. Okay, this guy said, some serious bias here. Kindly like the DNC post. Which I agree, because, you know, most people who look at this post or this poll, it's probably Yang Gang or Yang Gang adjacent. But still, it's great to see. I mean, it's great to see the enthusiasm. I mean, I'm basically a political nobody. I mean, I'm a baby YouTuber. But I just posted it on YouTube 12 hours ago. Boom! There are 1,800 people who you know, voted. And, you know, Andrew Yang was 98%. What does that tell us? Right? So it's all about polling the pool of people you wanted. I mean, just like the DNC polls, they poll the people they wanted, and they get the results they wanted. They get the people they wanted on stage. But we all know that they are going to lose to Trump, right? So what is the point? And last night, the most dramatic moments is between Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, and they're just trying kind of destroying each other. I mean, Elizabeth Warren is accusing Bernie Sanders for, you know, denying the women's chance of winning the presidential election. But Bernie said, "I never said that," and you know, I believe in Bernie. It's his being honest, and Warren is like a snake, and you will see that a lot of people refer to Warren as a snake. I mean, she's just, I don't know, it's so, I can't stand Warren. It's, I mean, she's a typical politician. She's like Hillary #2. So when the moderator asked her, you know, what do you think? How do you respond to Bernie? She said, I disagreed. She didn't say I disagreed with, you know, what? Like, I disagree with Bernie. Said, so she's basically saying Bernie said that, right? She guided people to think that Bernie did say to her that Warren couldn't win because she's women, but that's not the case. She's misleading people. This bad career politicians, they're just, you know, they know what you think, they know the way people think, so they try to, you know, misguide you. And that's so bad. And yeah, so I'll play that and you watch, and I will also let you focus on how many people are supporting Yan, right? If you look at the live chats, you can see the percentage. I mean, the Hill is polling, a larger number of people, and there's no, it's not as biased as here, right? Because here is basically a Yan Gan channel. Like, I mean, it's think out of politics, but a lot of people are like Andrew Yang here. So that polling number there, statistics, would reflect better of what the general people think of Andrew Yang, which I think is 33%. It's right about that, which is amazing. So hope you enjoy it.
Make America Great Again.
Big deal. I mean, like, he has accomplished something. Not all of what he ran on, but something.
Well, and here's the other thing with the character argument is if you're going to make the moralistic character argument, you got to be pure as the driven snow, and your son better not be, cashing in with credit card companies and sitting on Ukrainian oil and gas boards, which look, people hate when I say this on the left, but this is reality, and this is what's going to be leveraged against him, and whether there was real corruption or just an appearance of conflict of interest or just the normal swampy DC mess, this is going to be a problem for him if he goes up against President Trump.
It is, and I think Democrats are making a mistake by not litigating this during the primary.
Yeah.
But I think the reason for that is there's been such a negative pushback against candidates or being perceived as going after each other. Look at what happened with Castro. Look at what happened with Senator Harris. I mean, it's viewed as almost disqualifying to go after someone, especially Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And so I think what Democrats should worry about is we're going to head into a general not having fine-tuned those messages and those responses.
Hey, what did you think of Tom Steyer tonight?
I thought Steyer had a good night.
Yeah, great night.
Steyer is doing something that Senator Sanders has done really well and not many other candidates have done. Have a very simplified message, which is easy to understand, and say it over and over and over again. Trump was a master at that in 2016. You could name exactly what he was about. Build the wall, make America great again. And that's what he said over and over and over again. If you ask people what Hillary's message was, it was, these esoteric things that you couldn't really understand. That's got to be the winning message.
So final thoughts, Ed. Who won, who lost? What do you think?
Well, I think it was a good night for Biden. I think Warren will get a little bit of a media bounce, but I think she's also polarized a lot of people, so it probably won't help her that much overall in the race. And otherwise, I think everyone's kind of holding steady. There weren't a whole lot of fireworks in the debate other than maybe the Bernie Sanders Warren kind of moment in the debate and then the handshake issue.
The handshake issue. All right, thanks so much for being here, guys. We appreciate what you did. Double duty for us, and we're really grateful.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, we're going to have our extra special Team Rising panel, but first, another look back at that moment when Bernie Sanders was asked about whether he told Elizabeth Warren a woman could not be president.
Well, as a matter of fact, I didn't say it. And I don't want to waste a whole lot of time on this because this is what Donald Trump and maybe some of the media want. Anybody knows me, knows that it's incomprehensible that I would think that a woman could not be president of the United States. Go to YouTube today. There's a video of me 30 years ago talking about how a woman could become president of the United States. In 2015, I deferred, in fact, to Senator Warren. There was a movement to draft Senator Warren to run for president. And you know what? I stayed back. Senator Warren decided not to run, and I did run afterwards. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 3 million votes. How could anybody in a million years not believe that a woman could become president of the United States? And let me be very clear. If any of the women on this stage or any of the men on this stage win the nomination, I hope that's not the case. I hope it's me. But if they do, I will do everything in my power to make sure that they are elected in order to defeat the most dangerous president in the history of our country.
So Senator Sanders, I do want to be clear here. You're saying that you never told Senator Warren that a woman could not win the election.
That is correct.
Senator Warren, what did you think when Senator Sanders told you a woman could not win the election?
I disagreed. Bernie is my friend, and I am not here to try to fight with Bernie. But look, this question about whether or not a woman can be president has been raised, and it's time for us to attack it head on. And I think the best way to talk about who can win is by looking at people's winning record. So, can a woman beat Donald Trump? Look at the men on this stage. Collectively, they have lost 10 elections. The only people on this stage who have won every single election that they've been in are the women.
All right, I think that was probably the most noteworthy moment during the debate. However, afterwards, there was apparently an exchange
That's
with
right.
Senator Sanders and Warren. He went to shake her hand. She had some words for him. Very ugly between these two.
I watched it in the middle of the break, and basically the way that it worked was, I think we have a voiceover of the actual moment in which this happened, and no, we don't have it. Okay, I'm being told. So basically, the way it worked was Bernie went to go shake her hand, then she kind of backed off this way. There was a tense kind of confrontation. Tom Steyer was weirdly lurking in the background, and then the handshake didn't happen, and Bernie ultimately threw up his hands, and they both walked off the stage. So, it was a very tense moment there, and a lot of body language experts will be on CNN tomorrow to tell us
what's exactly going on there. Yeah, and I'm sure the campaigns will, try to spin it to their benefit.
Right.
I have to say, look, who are the voters who have been floating around during this process? You've had Biden's base relatively solid.
Right.
You've had Bernie's base relatively solid. And there's been a lot of fluctuation of essentially white, affluent liberals moving from candidate to candidate to candidate. You had Kamala had a moment. You had Pete had a moment. You had Warren have a moment. You had Pete. You're back to Warren seems to be taking a little bit away from Pete. But the media loved Warren's performance tonight. She's getting glowing reviews. And who does the media speak directly into the hearts of? That white, affluent liberal base. So I don't think it's Bernie Sanders who ultimately is hurt by this. I actually think it's Pete. I think they share such a similar pool of voters. I think those are the voters who are most up for grabs. If you look at the polling, their coalitions are the least sort of solid and the least set. So especially since Pete had a relatively unremarkable night, I think this could actually be kind of a damaging moment for him. I think Warren could see a bump from his voters.
It's going to be interesting.
Indeed. All right, let's bring in the panel with the best insights around Team Rising. Tonight's special debate edition includes Democratic strategist Andrew Feldman, assistant professor of political science at Howard University, Kanisha Grant, senior policy analyst at the Independent Women's Forum, Inez Stepman, and Democratic strategist and council member at large in Montgomery County, Maryland, Will Joando. Great to see you guys all.
Great to see you guys. Thank you.
Good to be here. Kanisha, let me start with you first. What did you make of the whole Bernie Warren situation, in particular that moment when the CNN moderator Bernie Sanders had just said, I didn't say that. And she turns around and says, well, when Bernie did say that thing, he didn't say that he said. How did you feel about it? It was a very unfair framing, ultimately.
Your viewers are going to be in my mentions heavy because I believe Warren. I think she's telling the truth. I don't think she has any reason to be making up stories about what Bernie did or didn't say. I think we can talk a little bit about whether
she does have a reason, which is to try to win the election.
I mean,
that's a pretty big reason.
She does have that
but
even if you the CNN thing was still pretty.
Right, because it's disputed. He says one thing, she says another. There are two people in the room. So you can't, as a journalist, pick sides and pretend to be neutral and unbiased and just say, no, I'm going to go with her, even though there's nothing to back up her account versus his account.
So should they have asked a follow-up question to make Bernie have more to say about it? Yes, I think that's true.
I think both, honestly. They both should have had some follow-up.
Shouldn't Warren have to say what he actually said? Because that's part of the question is for him to come out and say, I don't think a woman can win. It doesn't sound like anything he said in the past. It seems way mischaracterized. So I would want to hear from her. Okay, specifically, what did he say?
But not coming out and saying it. She's talking about a private conversation. If we're having a private conversation about what we should have learned from 2016 and what we should do in 2018, I think it stands to reason that he might say something like that when he believes that he's having a confidential conversation.
So, Will, I saw you looking skeptical at this. What do you think?
Yeah, a couple things. One, Abby Phillips, I think this is her first debate. I sense some nervousness just in the way she was reading the questions. So I actually don't think she intended to do what people think she did.
You're very nice.
I'm serious.
I felt very intense.
No. I mean, she said, well, because she had her questions written down. Bernie said, I didn't do it. I think she maybe wasn't prepared for that. And she asked the next question. But regardless of that, I remember trying to convince my mentor, who had worked in politics for a long time, that a black man can be president, and Barack Obama. And I can tell you how many people said that's never going to happen in my lifetime. So I actually don't think I don't know whether he said it or not. I take Bernie at his word. I think you're right. They should have asked a follow-up question. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that someone had a conversation privately and said, look, this sexist country is not going to elect a woman president. And having that conversation. And I don't think that means that he would be sexist.
Right. What do you think of the move by Warren's camp to leak those details? I mean, this is a private conversation.
Right.
They're supposedly friends and allies.
I think that was wrong. I think that was wrong. And to Kanisha's point, it was a private conversation. Even if he did say it, I don't know if he did. it was wrong to do that, and it was obviously for political gain. So I don't think that I don't think that was a good move.
Right. So what did you make of this, Inez, particularly the media piece?
Well, I'm the opposite, perhaps. I don't believe her. I think she has a track record of twisting stories in her past to always make herself into a victim. And I think that that's what she's doing here. I think she saw that she is struggling a little bit in a way that, a month ago people were calling her a front runner. She's no longer calling her that. And I think this was her big play. And honestly, I think this was kind of a mistake on Bernie's part during this debate. I think generally he did well, and you know that I'm not a Bernie fan, but I'm a conservative, so I say this is your guys' decision-making process here. But I think he made a mistake not hitting her in the same way that he made a mistake not going after Hillary Clinton's emails in the primary in 2016. This was his moment to actually, show some of that fire, that he's willing to not always be deferential and nice to other candidates on the stage with him. And I think when that, to your point about the media, when those clips get played over the next 3 days, he's going to look weak in those clips, even if he had an overall stronger debate. And I think that was a mistake on his part.
I thought his response was good, Andrew. And I think it's very hard, because the other danger, he goes too hard, and then you have all the media saying, oh, he was so mean, he was mansplaining, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a very hard situation that he was put in. I thought he handled it fairly well.
Look, I would not have started that off the way Bernie did. I would not have said that he didn't say it. First of all, I think there is clearly a disagreement between the two candidates.
Yeah.
I think he could have acknowledged there's a disagreement on what happened and then pivot to his second part of his answer, which was defending his record of always standing up for women, advocating for women, and mentioning that Hillary Clinton got 3 million more votes than Donald Trump. And I thought that was absolutely
But if he didn't say it, doesn't he have to be clear?
Look, I think that this is, if we are having a conversation, all of us here are strategists. If we want to talk about sexism in the country, right, in our everyday lives, women run into sexism in their careers every day.
Yeah,
so absolutely there is sexism in this presidential race, and absolutely that is a conversation that I could see two people having. That doesn't mean that a woman can't win, but absolutely that's something that Elizabeth Warren is going to face.
But is there a problem having that conversation? I mean,
no, I think it's something that needs to be had.
That's different than saying a woman can't win. But
he may have said that.
On a 2016, some of the biggest feminists talked about the sexism that Hillary Clinton faced.
Absolutely.
That were a barrier to her winning the White House. So, and you had Joe Biden also saying something, that I thought was not appropriate, where he basically was like, well, Hillary had sexism, I'm not going to have that, so that's why you should pick me. Like, he came out and said the quiet part out loud.
He said that.
And no one went after him for that. But, I think Elizabeth Warren and her team have done a tremendous disservice to having an honest conversation about the realities of being a woman in politics by completely weaponizing it to try to smear Senator Sanders for Warren's benefit. Kanisha?
I think that we haven't had a conversation yet about how the stage was white. And I think that if there was to be a way to have this conversation, I think she could have been and would have been well positioned to talk about the whiteness of the stage.
Yeah.
And in thinking about how the stage is not all white men, she could have had this conversation about gender. And so is it possible to have this conversation where she kind of lifts herself up and talks about this wonderful moment for women? Sure. Did she have to do it this way? I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Andrew, let me ask you, because this always, I do think this conversation is important. I think it needs to be had, et cetera. There's never a mention of the fact that Bernie Sanders would be the first Jewish president. That seems to not be important to anyone. I mean, do you think that's something that should be discussed? Do you think that he faces barriers because of his identity? What's your view on that?
Sure. I mean, I think that anti-Semitism in this country is on a rise. Around the world, it's on the rise. So absolutely, I think that would be a barrier that Bernie Sanders would face. Would I love there to be a first Jewish president? Absolutely. But I also think that what you're seeing with both Warren and Sanders is they're not backing down. They're fighting through whatever challenges they have. Elizabeth Warren, yes, she's going to face sexism, and she's facing it right now. She's facing it if she's the nominee, and she's not saying, oh, I'm just going to give up. She's fighting through. Bernie Sanders has faced ageism. He's faced, I'm sure he's faced in different campaign stops, anti-Semitism, and he's pushing through. That's what I think is fascinating about these two candidates. I actually think this is really petty for our party to be getting in this squabble.
No. There is one team that started this squabble. Let's just be clear.
Let's also focus on Biden here, because let's talk about this, Will, is that, generally the consensus from all analysts tonight is that Biden had a pretty good night. But the message itself, touting TPP, the end campaign, I'm sure you heard me talking about this earlier, it seemed like a total redux of the Hillary Clinton campaign. I do not think that is an effective strategy that you can run against Trump in the general election after it has already failed.
Right. He's doubling down on what he's always said. Anybody but Trump Obama 2.0. I mean, that's his strategy. And
It's more like Hillary 2.0.
yeah, well,
frankly.
Hillary 2.0. Well, yeah, it may be Obama 1.5, Hillary 2.0. You know, I mean, and don't forget
Obama maybe 0.5. Really.
right. When he needs to say,
Obama
"Don't forget,
was-
he picked me."
Yes.
But you know, it's that kind of middle of the road, and he tried to. One thing he did do well tonight. I think he said